goes. Welcome everybody, welcome. Let's see how the volume is. I might turn this down just a little bit. Let me know how the balance of audio versus the music in the background. I want to set the stage as if this is like a normal YouTube video that I normally would do, but also ask the community, because you're just as much at, I guess you could say, on the hook here in terms of this tier list. So we're going to be ranking all the guns from best to worst, probably in a randomized order across the board. We have all the guns listed down here below. We just have to identify them by shape, but it's pretty easy to do. We'll give a few minutes just to welcome everybody here. If somebody, I don't really think we will need to timestamp this. I'm sure as you kind of click through, you'll be able to see everybody's ranking. So how's the audio? How are we doing with audio? Audio sounds good. Flatline A tier. Okay. This is the point. Like when we get stuck, we have S, A, B, C, and D. When we get stuck on a rank, I want you guys to add input. This isn't just me. I'm gonna have you guys really give your thoughts as well. We'll give a few minutes just to let people barrel in, and then afterwards this will live as a VOD. It's gonna live as a VOD. But if everybody does come by, leave a like, let us know your thoughts in the tier list. This is the goal here. Is when the next split comes up, I just saw, I mean, the patch notes were just about Lifeline and Newcastle. With any changes, stuff that's coming, it's you'll be able to know for next split for the next like 60 days on what guns to utilize. So I figured this is a good moment because we've got enough time with the meta. We've been able to kind of identify what issues there are and which ones are good and vice versa. Also, just a reminder, on Saturday, we are doing a stream where you guys can play in customs. So I've already announced that. I'll remind people tomorrow on Twitter and so forth. So let's talk about the first gun right off the rip that I want to put at S that'll kind of give us a pretty strong margin. I'm going to give you guys my S and my D tier gun pretty much on this list. My S tier is going to be the Mastiff. The reason why I put the Mastiff at S tier is that it has the highest burst. And Matt is already saying S tier. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree. And so I'm trying to find the ones that we don't disagree at. The reason why, in terms of bubble dancing and putting it on the list, is just so strong. I would say at the start, whenever you land, without the bolt, it can be very punishing. So it's important not to get into a one-on-one encounter right off the rip. It's important to peak walls. It's great for bubble fighting, which means that this gun has longevity from early game, from burst damage, to end game when you're bubble dancing from a Halo to a Gibraltar bubble, or you're just trying to go for quick peaks. Really, really strong across the board. If you see it, it's pretty hard to pass up. And as you gain bolts, it only gets stronger. Just remember that towards the end game, if you don't have a bolt on this, it is pretty punishing. So just remember that. I've even passed up, is this ranked with or without attachments? I would say with, which is why I'm putting an S. When I rank the Mozambiques and the P20s, I'm assuming that they're at their absolute best. But I'm going to give tips throughout, even though I rank it high, and what their weaknesses are. I mean, the weaknesses, this is pretty strong at mid-range even. I'm going to be very honest. Even if you're blasting at mid-range, you can still hit for about 45 or even 30 if you're doing a quick peek, and you don't have to go pretty far with a spray. So across the board, Mastiff is S tier, one of the strongest one across the board. And when you have a gold bolt on it, I mean, it's an absolute menace. Now, let's talk about the next gun. And you guys can even vote and comment what gun you want me to rank next. But I'm going to give you the first two right off the rip here. I'm going to say the P2020s, even as dual wield, are the weakest guns, not only this season, but I would even say across all of Apex Legends. I don't think we have ever had a meta that has been very kind to the P2020. There has not been, oh my gosh, you can't pass up the P2020. Even whenever it has hammer points, it can be really strong, but the amount of effort that you have to get in terms of finding two of them and then finding the dual wield, there's going to be a lot of guns that are much better that you're going to find fully equipped and kitted across the board. So it's very rare that you're going to see, unless they increase the rate of fire of this, I don't see the P2020s being that strong across the board. So that's a pretty tough one. I'm sure people would disagree with me on that, but I don't think anybody in their right mind, even if I said, would you pass it up for an Eva-8, a Mastiff, Mozambiques, Wingman, I think is even better for the current meta, to be honest, because at least there's burst damage and does have some range. The pickup on the range, I know they buffed the P2020s to have better hip fire, but even then, oh my gosh, it's absolutely brutal. I think let's go with another easy pick here. Let's go with until you guys start giving me other ones. Let's go with where's the Kraber? Ah, there it is, Kraber. I think Kraber's always S tier in terms of the care package. It's a fantastic weapon, creates one of the biggest openings for your team. I mean, even though it's been nerfed several times, nothing can combat the opening of a Kraber shot right to the head. In comp, it's been discussed many times to get rid of it. I think in current iteration, it's more balanced because it doesn't always one shot, but it's still one of the strongest guns in the game. And in terms of creating opening at mid to long range, and even if you get a close range shot, it makes for the most stylistic plays in the game. So I would definitely put that at S. Let's talk about what's next. I would put, let's see here, this is a little tricky. Let's go with another shotgun. I would put the Eva-8 at A tier. I think that it has some really strong burst in the game. I don't think that it's better than the Mastiff. I don't think that it beats the Mastiff in any way, but it's very consistent. Off drop, it could be a little slow, but even fully kitted, it can be very versatile. It does have high drop off, so it means that you got to play very aggressive with it. But if I were to rank it above the Peacekeeper, because the Peacekeeper currently in the season has a bug where sometimes it won't shoot, and I think that it's a lot more consistent across the board. It makes for a really great gun. I grab it quite a bit. My chat just disconnected. Let me see. I'll pull it up on my phone. Oh, there it goes. It's reconnected again. I don't know. Laptop just disconnected. We're good. You'd say B tier? How do you guys feel about the Eva-8? I say A because I really like it a lot. Like, I like the Eva-8. Hey, Jose. It's good to see you. Hash, let's give a shout out to everyone while everyone's coming in. We're ranking all the guns, by the way. Damon, it's good to see you. You guys are rating it B. I mean, would you say A tier Eva-8 is fun? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's do a poll. Do we put the Eva-8 at A tier? Eva-8 ranking. So let's do this. What's what we're gonna do? Do we do A tier or B tier? And while we do that poll, let's talk about it. Okay? All right, there you go. So there's the poll. I'm gonna vote for A tier on my end. There we go. Let's see what wins. So far we got a winning for A. The reason why, again, is because it's a lot more consistent than the Peacekeeper. I think that it's much stronger in the burst meta for endgame. It's great for if you're just trying to get close and personal. The DPS is really high, especially if you have a gold bolt on it. We're assuming that these guns are at their absolute best, and when it's the absolute best, it melts people. And also with the quick reload with the attachments, makes it even more enticing. Because you get the fast reload and get right back in the action. And if you're using, let's say, Mad Maggie or Gibraltar, then this gun is even bigger menace because it reloads right away. And so the DPS going from one person into another is absolutely insane. What's the second? S tier? That's A. It's A tier. It's forgiving but not stronger than the PK. All right, let's take a look. So far we got 21 people voting. Right now, it's still 64% is at A and 36 is at B. That's what we're seeing so far. I'll try to do like little timers on these polls. I'll give it like another 30 seconds before we close that out. This is going to be long. This is, again, I want you guys to really give your input as well. So, all right, let's do a timer. We'll give a shout out to everyone here. Emily, it's good to see you. Hash Sent, Damon, Meta, Bella, good to see you. That UC Gamer, good to see you. But yeah, so far we have the split, which I voted for A, but doesn't mean you have to vote for that. So if I was voted against heavily, then I would put it elsewhere. I guess the next one that we're going to do, let's go ahead and close up this poll because it's almost 30 seconds now, is the Peacekeeper. Would you put it both at A or would you put it at B? I'd put the Peacekeeper at B personally. Let's see here. Because I don't, the Peacekeeper is not, by the way, is not, what do you call it? It's S. So it's either A rank or B rank. It cannot be lower than that because burst meta is so strong. Okay? Alright, so let's see what you guys vote for. I vote for B, just FYI. And the reason why is I find the Eva-8 to be a little more consistent, even though it's strong. Let's see here. Sorry, my wife just messaged me, said she wasn't feeling well. Let's see here. B for PK. It's had far too many bugs. I think that's one of the issues I have with it. It's also buggy right now. It's confirmed. And the bug has not been fixed. In case you're unaware, the Peacekeeper if you try to double shoot, I know Moki showcased this, sometimes it won't shoot. And I think it's because of the choke. People recommend removing the choke. Otherwise, if people vote against me, people are saying B, and we get 65% at B, and it's still changing. It is a high risk, high reward, which is why the Mastiff and the Eva are higher. You're supposed to ADS with Eva, it doesn't have any value. Yeah, you're supposed to just literally stick right and like go right on top of them. Somebody said the P2020 is S tier. I completely disagree with that. I don't agree. That's absolutely insane. I would vote to bring it up to C, maybe, but I don't think the P2020s have just never had their moment. I'd rather Wingman than over the PK. I agree. So I'm putting the, let's go to end this poll. It says we've already had a minute on it, so let's go to end it. And I agree with B. Okay, so you guys got to vote as well. I'll try to do as many polls as possible, and I'll give you my justification. Now, here's a tricky one. Because of the Peacekeeper, the Mozambiques have been nerfed pretty hard. The question is now, unless you, I'll try to do 3 votings here. Either Mozambiques are A, B, or C. I'm tempted to give it its fair shake, especially if it's got hammer points on it, to be on par with the Peacekeeper. I would probably put it less than the Peacekeeper, in my opinion, still. But I'm going to have you guys vote on it. I'm going to try to add more to this. Ready? Let's go ahead and add... we're going to do Mozams. This is either going to be Mozam ranking. Now, the reason why is that it is consistent. It is like an Eva-8, but the problem is trying to find everything. So it's either... we either put... we can do A ranking. We can do B ranking. Or we can do... C ranking for the Mozams. I could justify because they have been nerfed so hard that sure, maybe you can say otherwise. Let's see here. If that was going to mess up. Let's see here. Now it's good. Okay. I'm going to vote B, but we'll see what overtakes the rankings there. All right. If PK, B, Mozams, or C, that's what my thought process is. But I'm also willing to give the Mozam its fair shake and put it underneath because I'm sure there's a lot of guns that I would say are worse because burst meta is so good this season. Like I don't want an alternator. I'd probably put alternator at C, to be honest. I would be very confident putting that at a C tier. B, A with hammer point. With hammers, I say B. Yeah, we're assuming all these are fully kitted on their best, okay? If you were to kit it out completely, knowing what the end game is, what are we looking at here, right? Surprising you guys all said a lot of B as well. Which that's kind of where I think it sits below the Peacekeeper though. I would still pick up a Peacekeeper, and you see me do it over the Mozam. So even it's debatable fully kitted though, because those hammers are really good. But I mean, what are the odds of you finding hammers, realistically? But even then, for consistency's sake, I would still go for the Peacekeeper. All right, so let's go to close out that poll, and I can give you my justification for the alternator. I think with burst meta, I think that the alternator is really strong only in early game because they remove the disruptor rounds, and it is strong, but it doesn't really beat out any of the shotguns in the current meta. And that's where I think I would, unless you guys start typing, I don't think we need to pull this one. I just can't justify it over a Peacekeeper or Mozams. Like fully kitted, like the DPS is so slow in a Gibby bubble fight towards the end. Early on, it really has a lot of strength. Early on, it does. But it's better than a P20, that's for sure. But it's not better than a Peacekeeper or Mozam. Like, I just can't justify that whatsoever. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because of that, even though RE45s are good, I would also put alternate D tier. I mean, early game, it really does slap. And even if you dropped and it's not the end of the world to have. End game is just not going to do a whole lot for you. Kind of like the RE45. I would even say the alternator, the RE45 is worse than the alternator. Especially with, even though it's got disruptors, nobody is using, I don't think I've ever seen anybody sit there and say, I want to use a fully kitted RE45 or alternator. I think they sit among the same tier just because end game they struggle. I don't even want an RE45 early game, to be honest. Even if I had the option of a blank Peacekeeper versus a fully kitted RE45, I would pick up the Peacekeeper still. Even a Mastiff, I'm gonna be honest, if I saw Mastiff Eva-8 on the ground and I had a RE45 with a purple mag, I would still leave the RE45 on the floor. It's debatable if I pick up the alternator because you do need some range. There's some debate there. This is why I put the alternator just a little bit higher. A little bit higher, just because it's a little more consistent shots. It does need something. I agree with that. An alternator needs a disruptor round or something. I don't even know what you would do for the RE45 to make it viable, to be honest. It's been meta once when it has the disruptor rounds a long time ago, but it was such a short-lived period. And even then, I would argue that other guns are better. It's almost close to D tier, but because it has been in the care package and it's had a lot of strength at one point, I mean, in the current meta, it's extremely weak. It is... no pro is going to run that gun ever. You would never even see it in ranked. Heck, I don't even think you would even see anybody who were like, hey man, I'm going to disrupt everybody with the RE4. You're just not going to see it. It's not going to happen. This is where we start to get a little tricky here. I'm going to make, this one might be a little easy. I'm going to start going through some of the A tiers, and you guys can type otherwise. But I'm going to kind of go which ones I feel confident with. Because of burst meta, the Nemesis... And I'm going to put the Hemlock also in the same boat so we're not sitting here forever. So you have a pretty strong idea of where I'm going with this. Burst meta. Hemlock and Nemesis are both at A. I would put the Nemesis slightly higher than the Hemlock. Now, the only reason why it doesn't beat out the Eva-8 is because I would probably pair something else with the Eva-8. But these are really, really strong. I mean, they also would go, they're a great pairing with the Eva-8, to be honest. If I had any of these three guns paired together, like Nemesis Eva-8, Hemlock Eva-8, you know, Nemesis Mastiff, Nemesis, or Hemlock and Mastiff, really, really strong. Burst meta, so good. You can't pass them up. And when you're trying to peek somebody at distance and you get nothing but headshots, and even the Nemesis as you ramp up, the DPS is so good. I've even found myself as I'm running up against a squad with the Nemesis, pre-shooting on the ground, just so I have it ramped up so I can burn somebody down immediately. I've done that before, which is why I rank it a little higher than the Hemlock. The Hemlock offers some nice consistent DPS, but that Nemesis, when it's fully revved up and you have a gold mag rocking on it, because remember, these guns are at their best, the Nemesis all day, every day, as long as I got ammo to sustain it, then it's a fantastic gun. But I have to put the Hemlock not even a tier lower because it's a really strong gun. But I wouldn't dare put the Hemlock at B tier because I would prefer any one of these loadouts at the top here. Are we calling D-tier weapons only to use off drop? We're essentially saying the guns at their best fully kitted. But even if I saw a P20 fully kitted, I still would laugh and pick up an alternator. Because at that point, I'd be like, I have extended mag level 3 and there's an alternator next to me. I'm grabbing the alternator. And if I saw a Peacekeeper, even if it was naked, I would still grab a Peacekeeper because burst. And if they bubble fight. Bubble fighting is so big right now in terms of just getting that raw damage out, that's kind of the scaling we're going off of. Because everyone's running, you got halos, you got bubbles, you got Newcastle shields. Everything requires burst at the moment. D is unemployment, good God. That's brutal. These ones as we get towards the end are going to be pretty tricky. Because in terms of ARs, I can't put any AR above the Nemesis or Hemlock, or I can't put these at S. Just because, I mean, a Nemesis isn't going to win at endgame against a Mastiff or anything like that. But I would put, in my humble opinion, you guys can disagree with it, I would put the Flatline at A. I think the Flatline has a nice stream of consistent DPS. Bubble fighting, it's not the end of the world. It is tough to use. But because it's got a large mag and sustainable DPS and does higher damage than, let's say, the R-301, I think it makes for a really strong A tier. What's it got next to it? That's the Kraber. Kraber, undeniable, one of the strongest guns in the game. If you see it. Especially if you're trying to create an opening. And then we'll go over. I think the Flatline is strong. What do you guys think? And by the way, I mean, I have low latency, so I should be able to see a lot of what you guys are saying. This is going to stay as a VOD afterwards. So what do you guys think? Me saying Flatline A tier. Honest thoughts. It's going to go to Flatline over Hemlock for me. Would you say, would it be daring to say if I were to put the Flatline above this here? If I were to swap these two and put the Flatline in between the Nemesis? Flatline A? I don't know if Flatline A or low B. Flatline over Nemesis. So far we got... I'm willing to put a middle ground here based on what you guys are saying. If we put it above the Hemlock, but below the Nemesis. Because remember, burst. If we keep it in the middle. I think that's fair, right? Okay, I think we got a consensus there. Nemesis over Flatline. So only one person said Flatline over Nemesis. I do like the Flatline a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a middle ground because Burst is just so good. And they're at their best fully revved. All right, the next one is a little tricky, and I know a lot of people love the R-301, but I'm going to be putting the R-301 at B tier. The R-301 has fallen off pretty hard, and though it's got a larger mag, and I believe they've adjusted its recoil, it's still very weak in the burst meta currently. It's not better than a Flatline, it's not better than a Hemlock, it's not better than a Nemesis, but if we were going toe-to-toe at B tier, it's a fully kitted Mozam and a fully kitted Peacekeeper. It's still really rough, and you might still lose the fight against somebody that will two-pump you or hit you with hammer points. It's just gonna... It's not a bad gun. It is not a bad gun, the R-301. I don't think it's a bad gun whatsoever. I love the R-301, but I pass it up a lot for everything else in the game. It is better than Alternator RE45 for sure. It used to be one of the best guns in the game, but at the moment, it's something that you just... I don't know. It doesn't really work. Yep, though it is nice to see R-301 not meta. And I guess so. I mean, it had been meta for a really long time. That's fair to say. Let's see here. What's the next on our list? R3 ruined the gun. Flatline's best R it used to be so good. Yeah, I would say the Flatline kind of... Marianas actually said this, so we've ranked together quite a bit. He said that the R301 kind of has a new purpose to mid to long range to kind of create dwindling down damage because the recoil is like so low, but it does struggle close range. But at that point, I would still prefer to run a Nemi, Flatline, Hemlock, or anything above to do more damage. How do you feel about rank? It's very high burst, which is why we're doing this tier list. It's fine. I mean, there's less cheaters across the board. Here's an interesting one. You're going to probably disagree with this, but I actually will put the bow, check bow, by the way, at below the Eva-8. You want to know why? And I've actually had this happen on streams. If you look at the bow check, I've had an AR or like a sniper, and then I regret grabbing the bow because I don't have a close range. Even though it could be a skill issue, but I think the Eva-8 is better at close range than the bow check. But the bow check compared to some of the other guns that I'm going to be ranking up higher here is you'll see pretty much why, and it becomes a hard trade-off when we start talking about the Sentinel and Longbow, which I'm gonna struggle with a little bit here, and I'm gonna use your guys to help me give it a ranking, because I think snipers are very underrated this season, especially the Longbow and the Sentinel. Now, I have a bias towards the Longbow personally. I like that gun more, but I'm gonna ask you guys, the community, what to drop AR for bow, play bow, Mastiff. Yeah, I would. That's what I would do. I would do the same, which is why I rank it higher. But then I've been in scenarios where I have dropped the bow, and then I wish that I had the Eva-8 or something at the end, so I can't put it above that. The hard part is it's limited ammo too, you know? Or I have a longbow than a bow. I have done that before myself. I've contemplated, like, why would I go for that? If I have a fully kitted Sentinel or a fully kitted longbow, why would I pick up the bow check? Especially whenever you have a lot of cells. You start to decide economy at that point, which is, let's do a poll here. Let's do the next one, which is going to be the Sentinel. I want to know your honest thoughts because I'm a little biased, and I would actually put the longbow at S, but I'm going to ask you guys the Sentinel rank, okay? Because I don't want my bias to come in here. Let's just say it's your favorite sight on the Sentinel, fully kitted, everything's there. Would you put it at S rank? Would you put it at A rank? I don't think anybody would say B rank, but I'll put it here anyways. I highly doubt anybody would say that. Let's see what you guys say. I personally would put the Sentinel at A, and I put the longbow at S, but again, I'm open to be wrong. So if you guys vote otherwise, then I will respect that wish. Because we have to put one of the snipers up higher, because the snipers are really good. And just so you know why I cherish the longbow more. Now keep in mind, the burst is higher on the Sentinel, and you got the hop up across the board, so that does help there. But in terms of longbow, because the damage is higher, it's really, really strong. You know, that's been my thoughts. Let's see what you guys are voting so far. The Sentinel has high burst, so far you guys are voting. This is a close one, actually. I'm gonna let this one go a little longer as we kind of talk through it, okay? Let's give both of them their time of day. The Sentinel has a higher burst. If you get a headshot, it's almost as much damage as a Kraber, which is why I'm giving it the fair shot for S, if you guys really think about it, because it has that high power. Now, the longbow has a higher, you can shoot more, and it has a larger mag, so it can be a little more consistent. Sentinel A, longbow A+. I'll have to ask you guys, and maybe we'll put them like at a ranking close by, next to the bow, essentially. Sentinel's like a baby Kraber charge, can swing your fights. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so maybe I'm giving it too much credit, okay? Maybe I'm giving these guns too much credit in terms of S, okay? So maybe we compromise and say that it's an A tier, but we're going to have to put which one's better, the Sentinel or the longbow. I'm going to do a poll on that. I think we're kind of you guys are in kind of agreement they're all A, because I don't think you guys are going to agree with me putting longbow S, because I think somebody's going to think I'm crazy and insane. I personally think it's S, but I think based on the polls, you guys are disagreeing with that, which is totally respectable. So now we need to ask the question, which one's better, Sentinel or longbow? And the first one will be Sentinel better, and the second one will be longbow better. Let's go and hit that poll. Now remember, both at their best, the Sentinel does higher damage. The longbow just gives a little more flexibility because it's got a more consistent mag. It can be really powerful as well. I would prefer the longbow. You guys are saying Sentinel. I'm sure I respect it. Listen, if you're the Sentinel glitch, it clears. Holy, let's go. You guys are saying Sentinel. Okay, so, and you guys already said Sentinel's better than the bow check, which I would agree. I would even argue that the Sentinel is probably even better than the Eva-8 fully kitted, because it does do so much burst. So I'm going to put it that high up. Now, to compromise, since you guys don't agree with as high of a ranking for the longbow, we're going to put the longbow below the Eva, but above the bow check, because if I have a fully kitted gold mag longbow, and I can put my favorite sight on it, I actually do pass it up over the bow, because it is 10 damage less, but at least I can control the ammo economy. My issue with the bow is that it doesn't have enough ammo at times. It even needs to be S tier. I could do another run of it, and we can vote it higher. I could ask you guys at the end if you agree with it or not. Yeah, I just don't think the longbow is better than the Eva-8 close range, though. Because I do agree with that. I mean, it at start, it could be strong. It could be really, really strong. Let me see what you guys are voting. Now you guys all say Sentinel, so I'm boosting it higher because it's just how far you guys are voting. And while I disagree, we'll let it be. I'll let you guys vote on that. That's fine. Look at the poll. You guys are so in favor of the Sentinel, which is fair. It is very strong. It is very, very strong. Now, because we have the light weapons, let's do a little pivot here. I know it's like all over the place. The Spitfire, I would put above the Alternator and the RE45. Can't tell if the Eva 8 is getting glazed. It's really good. Don't sleep on it, man. Like, I slept on the Eva 8 for the longest time, but this season, because of burst meta, it is so powerful. It's just so consistent DPS-wise is the reason why. I mean, you can really, but you have to be close is the problem, Pika. You got to be right on top of somebody. Okay, so the Spitfire, I would have to give it a C, just because it doesn't win in burst fights, close range. It does have a very large mag, and I still think that at range, the R301 is better. It's constantly B throughout seasons. I'd rate it lower. So, okay, we'll do a poll then. We'll do a poll. B or C for Spitfire, okay? We'll do a poll on this then. Spitfire ranking. B tier or C tier fully kitted. I've passed it up a lot for an R3 though. I mean, maybe that's just me, but like if I see a fully kitted R3 and a fully kitted Spitfire, I'm grabbing the R301. And even then, like once I start looking at the list, I start going up, you know? Yeah, that's why the RE45 is so low, is because of the bubble fighting. I see what you guys are saying about this. B. Wow, you guys are putting it B. And then I would have to ask you the question afterwards. I mean, you guys are voting so fast on it. I'm gonna put both of them against each other now, because it's pretty clear you guys want it B, so I'll move it up. Now the question is it better than an R301? All right. That's the next question. You guys are pretty fast at voting for that, and it's like such a clear vote. Spitfire versus R-301. I'd pick up an R-301, but listen, let's see what you guys say. If you guys rank it higher, you guys rank it higher. I don't agree with putting it above a shotgun, though. Okay, I'm gonna be honest about that. Let's rank here. Which one? You gotta click one. I'm gonna click R-301, but if you guys vote against me, if you guys vote against me, is what it is. Okay, if the okay, wow, all right, yeah, R-301 is taking a massive swing, like overall there. So because of that, I can't put the Spitfire above the R-301. Don't shoot with Gibby, bro, but I just like the R-301 more. I don't know, it's just so easy. There's no recoil and it's so much faster. Yeah, it's just so easy. Like the gun almost has like, I don't even know if it even has recoil sometimes. Like that gun is just massively easy to use. Okay, you guys agree with that. It's the same thing with like, so you guys see the poll there. All right. Next up, oh, we've been going for a little bit already. All right. I'm going to put the wingman right in the middle here at B. Fully kitted, burst damage above the R-301 and the Spitfire. Is shield generator slept on? It is. It is very much slept on. But I still prefer the R-301. But it's debatable. A? Okay, we're gonna have to do a tier list in this one. Let's do. We'll do this. Okay, we're gonna do another poll. Because I put the wingman at B. Wingman ranking. We'll do A versus B. A ranking versus B ranking. All right, let's see what you guys say. I'll leave it on this screen so you guys can see where the poll is going. Oh my god, okay. I mean, you guys kind of agree with me on that. I mean, wingman's got burst. That's the only reason. It's just, it's not bad. I mean, I wish I had more bullets. That's why I can't put it reliably too high up. I still would drop it for a lot of these other guns up here. It's great off drop. Fully kitted is still really good. Fully kitted against a Peacekeeper or Mosin? Probably not. That's why I have it right where it's at. The one-step accuracy? I agree with that. I could agree with that. Alright, we're going to put it at B then. Yep, wingman is great until once you have red shield, it's pretty brutal, and you do. I think it would do well with just one more bullet. To be honest, if they buff the wingman with one more bullet, actually makes a really big difference, or even two. I don't know if that's too much, but one more bullet. I know it doesn't have a mag, but if you just give it one more bullet base, I think it holds up longer. To be honest. All right, the R-99. This one's tricky because it doesn't win in burst meta, but it's still really strong. But the ammo goes so fast. I just want to say extremely low A tier. It's crazy because it's a care package weapon right now. But S? You guys think S with R-99? Okay, this one's tricky because we're going to put... Because it's burst meta, it doesn't do very well. A lot of those guns don't do well. So we're going to do R-99. We'll do ranking. We're going to do S tier. We'll do A tier. And then we'll do B tier. I put it low A, personally. It's because the mag goes by so fast. Like, I've had where I've knocked a lot of people, and then I'm at the end, I'm like, oh shoot, I only have like 3 reloads left, you know? You guys are mostly saying A. I just wish I had more bullets. It doesn't have enough bullets. I need more bullets. Like, let's say, for example, if you have a fully kitted Eva-8 close range versus R-99, the Eva-8 wins. Realistically, I'd vote A, personally. It's just, I just think its issue is the ammo count. I don't think it has enough bullets. I think it's a great gun if it had more ammo. I just find whenever I pick it up, I will burn through one whole team, and then I realize I burned through half my ammo, even if I land a majority of my shots. It is amazing time to kill. It just doesn't have enough ammo. We could definitely do this with Legends too. I was kind of doing the guns first to see how you guys responded if it does well, which is why it feels hollow. Yeah, speaking of hollow, I mean, if he has this gun, it'd go absolutely crazy. I pick up bow over R99 care pack, but for some reason, if it's Mythic bin, I pick it up. I do as well. It just depends how far into the game I am. If I'm towards the end and I have enough bullets with like a really strong AR or something, maybe. It's just when you're bubble fighting and people are in bubbles and reset, you can knock somebody and then realize that you don't have the ammo to sustain for too many fights. I also think PK is better right now if it wasn't bugged. I actually would rank the PK probably higher if it wasn't bugged. But I didn't see a fix on the patch notes today, so I can't reliably put it any higher because it's not reliable, especially I've had it happen to me, and it's really frustrating. All right, this is where we start getting really tricky. I would put the Havoc high up, but because of burst meta, I actually would only put the Havoc above the R99. Unless you guys say otherwise. Let me close out the poll. Hold on. The PK is bugged. Yeah, it doesn't shoot sometimes when you have the choke enabled. It'll miss the shots. Or it won't shoot. Like, you'll keep clicking and it won't shoot. And that's it's costed me some games where I'm trying to bubble fight and a bullet... When you're like your ADS. This is the ADS problem. The problem is also with the Havoc in terms of Havoc A or B. I'm trying to see if we even need to do a poll for this one. Havoc is really good. I haven't even used yeah, we're talking about the Peacekeeper not firing. I feel like the Havoc is better than Bocek. I'm willing to compromise and put it up higher. I wouldn't put it above the Bocek. But there is a world where I do put it above most of these. I can't put reliably the Havoc at S. Hey, Justin, old guy, appreciate you, dude. Thank you, man. Havoc is A tier. Seems like mostly you're saying, hey, I'll A, so I'll put it in the middle. I could create a whole compilation of the piece. Guess what? We have it at B. It still can work. It can still do well. I think it sits well. I don't. If I saw a Havoc and a Bocek both sitting there, I would go for the Bocek, assuming that I have a shotgun. Because I'm assuming that I'm always going to find like an Eva-8 or a Mastiff or something along these lines. Guaranteed. It's mid. Okay, I'm fine with that. We don't need to do a poll. For it. It makes sense. Gosh, this is where we're going to start to really get tricky here. I'm going to put the charge rifle, and this could be a skill issue for me. I know that it has an amazing burst, and maybe it's because I haven't learned it well enough, but I'm putting the charge rifle at like almost bottom of the barrel C right now. And the reason why, it's because of the bullet drop and everything else here. The Sentinel has a faster rate of fire. The R-301 probably can do more damage consistently. And just in terms of consistency on the charge rifle, I suck with this gun. It is hard to use. I'm glad you guys agree. It's just really hard to use. And like, I would prefer to use a Spitfire with a full gun shield or an R-301 fully kitted, or even a Wingman at long range than a charge rifle. I mean, I have done some damage with this gun. I have made it look good, but I suck with it. Charge rifle is F. Okay, if Monsoon were using this, yes, then it goes up here. If you can get used to its bullet drop and everything, it goes up way higher. Anyone else is C or low B? Yeah, I mean, I can argue that it could be bottom of B here, but off drop, I don't want to use it. Even if it's fully kitted, it feels like the same horrible gun. S tier on people people scanning. True. Yeah, I would still take a longbow, or I'd take a Sentinel. I would take a lot of the other ones. All right, let's see. What's next? Let's do this one's devotion. I'd put it on C above the alternator. I think devotion sucks. Hate this gun. I've always hated this gun. I hated it when it was good. I don't like it. But I'm willing to put it up for a poll if you guys disagree. Let me know what you guys think of D tier. I don't like the devotion at all. I mean, I would put it at D. I'm trying to be nice to the devotion. Because I would put it at D. If you go look for gameplay of me using this gun, I don't like it. I don't like the devotion. It is strong in the current meta. But I will be nice to it if I need to. Okay, let's do a poll because I'm being mean to the devotion. Let's do a poll. So devotion ranking. I say, okay, I can't put it at A. C and then D. Okay. I'm not even gonna put ranking, so then we save time here. Oh, how long are we? Okay, 41 minutes in. We're almost good. With good recoil, it's good. Man, it's debatable. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna be splitting. Okay, you guys say B. I'll move it up. I'll move it up, but I'll move it towards the bottom of B. If that's what you guys are voting for. I say C. Still, it's going heavily B. Okay, I'll compromise. I'll put it right next to a Spitfire because they're both really strong. If that's what you guys agree on. I mean, I can. Yeah, it's just so it's so overwhelmingly B at this point. I just can't put it above an R-301 or Spitfire realistically. I've compromised because I would have put it in a D. I was being nice. I was being nice putting in a C. That was me being nice. But I could agree with bottom of B at least if that we want to find a middle ground at it. That's I'll compromise at that. I'm sure I'll overrule on something else, but you guys have overwhelmingly said B, so fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Triple take. Oh, this one's tough, man. Triple take. It is definitely way better than it was. I almost want to say the highest B or the lowest A. You guys are saying A and S. Oh my god, dude, what? We may have to vote for this one. I just prefer it overall. Like, there's no way I take it over any of these other guns here. And even if it was a Nemesis, I put it at the bottom here. Okay. It's either highest B or lowest A at this point. I know it's super popular in comp. It's because it's just high. It's because it could be a shotgun and a close range. It's definitely better than a Peacekeeper. So honestly, it feels like a Peacekeeper at times. It really does, because it can act like a shotgun, that's why. It really is pretty strong close range. Then we put it highest here. I mean, we're trying to ignore in terms of input, we're trying to look in terms of viability. I think I would put it at B, above the Peacekeeper, to be honest. But in comp, there's a reason why it's used, is because it can act as two different things. That's why. But even then, in comp, this is why we start seeing like Nemesis take over, or snipers, shotguns, everything else is higher. But I have, in some scenarios, used it as a makeshift shotgun. At least it's more consistent than Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper's bugged. I would put the G7 Scout above in B here, in my opinion. I think the Scout is good. I don't think it's better than anything above an A tier whatsoever. Fully kitted. I think it's more reliable in terms of long range than the triple take. Oh, but the triple take's versatile. Maybe I'd have to go this way. Low A to me? Okay, I'm gonna have to pull the G7. We're gonna have to pull it. 7. Rank. Alright, ready? So we're gonna either have to do A tier or B tier. Based on how the poll goes, then we'll kind of go from there. I would say B, and I like the triple take. See what you guys say. A, okay, I'll bump it up then. Going with the sniper scopes on a G7 would be pretty crazy. Honestly, it'd really bump it up. Wow, you guys are split on it. Oh no. Oh, that's gonna suck. It's very split. Which means I have to put it above the G7 because you guys weren't split on the on the triple take as much like that. I put it a Scott, then I'll put it above the triple take. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's I think I'm in agreement there. I think that's where I would sit as well. It's fair. I mean, look at the poll, it's split. I would pick up the G7 over the triple take, but I know the versatility. Keep in mind, I understand the versatility of the triple take. I just prefer the Scout. Keep in mind, the Scout used to be one of the strongest mid to long range weapons in the game. I think it's slept on. Okay, you know, okay, fair. We'll do this. We're gonna do a poll again. Triple take or G7 Scout. You guys are gonna vote right now. See what you guys say. Let's see. Because they're pretty neck and neck. All right, what do you guys say? I would say the Scout. Let's see what you guys vote. You guys say triple take. I'm wrong. I'm cool with it. Bro, triple take, bro. If you lose this, bro, let's see. I mean, but let me defend the triple take a little bit. It does have a nice the ramp up time is much faster now. All right, you guys say triple take. From what I'm seeing right now, and it's very clear that's going that way. That kind of sets the stage for the rest of this too, I guess. But I'm feeling really good about this list based on these weapons. I'm feeling really good about it. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to wait even further. We pretty much got everyone voting. It makes sense. I can respect it. All right. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. The 3030 has fallen very hard from grace. Man. I'll be honest, it's really hard to run a 3030. I really would put it above the Scout. It's pretty bad now. See, you guys are pretty much... I don't put it... There's no way. Honestly, the D tier with the P2020 lives by itself down there. It's better than a charge. It does need a buff. Its ramp up time is brutal. Rather use bare hands. Its hipfire got really destroyed. It's pretty rough to even use hipfire wise. But so is a charge rifle. Above devotion. I would put it above the devotion. That would be my opinion. Like I would put it right here. But I know how people feel about the gun. I know how people use it. I think people would vote C. Let's see what you guys say, so I'm not biased on it too much. Would you guys put the 3030 ranking in terms of B tier or C tier? Let me know. Because I would put it here, personally, because I like it, but it needs a buff. But I feel like the realistic ranking is C. So I would even vote C, because I feel like that's what you guys are going to say. It's above a charge rifle, yeah, kind of figured. It makes sense. All right, well, I don't even need to wait much longer. You guys have voted so fast. Like, it's so overwhelmingly that it kind of makes sense. Yeah, it's better than a chargy boy, that's for sure. This is where we start getting into the nitty gritty. All-Star is very much slept on. But I have no idea where to place it. It's not my gun this season. I don't use it that much. I know people rank it A tier because of how consistent and strong it can be. I personally would put it right in the middle of B, but I know some people would put it at A. Imagine that you have to imagine all these are fully kitted. P2020, even with a Kimbo, I dropped down that low. I think P2020 suck, and trying to find everything, I'd rather have I just think they're bad. I think the P20s are the worst guns in the game by far. Okay, you guys are split between A and B on the L-Star, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a poll on this one. I don't use this gun enough. I know that it's a slept-on weapon, okay? And I understand the value of them. A rank and then B rank. Let's see what you guys say. L-star rank. I know it's good. I know it's slept on, which is why I'm giving it its time of day here. I'd put the L-star at B, but I'm up for being wrong. PK at B? Yeah, it's bugged. It's because it's inconsistent. But it is strong still. If it wasn't bugged when you use a choke and it didn't bug out so many times, then that's why. That's why the Eva boost up. There's so many instances. Moki has shown it. A lot of people I saw Nocturnal come in here say it as well. That's why it's that way. All right, see what you guys voted for. A rank. Because it's so split, I would put it at the very bottom then, below the R99. Yeah, that's where I would put it. Maybe above the R. No. Let's not get too crazy. Reverse hipfire is busted. That is true. But would you pick up an R99 or an L-star? I would always pick up a fully kitted Nemesis Flatline Hemlock over it. L-star or Flatline? Wow. I don't know. I love the Flatline. Keep in mind, I'm a little biased. I've already compromised with A because I would have dropped it much lower. I know that it's a very underrated gun, though. That's a fair statement. So this is what I'll do for you guys. So then they're more in the same slot, okay? Versus R99, Flatline versus L-star, okay? This is going to prove either that it goes up higher or lower. Flatline, L-star. I would pick Flatline all day, every day. I don't care how good the L-star is. I prefer the Flatline. It feels more comfortable. I know the recoil. I pick Flatline. But let me highlight anybody out there that the L-star is very, very undervalued right now. It is an undervalued gun by far. But I am just a Flatline enthusiast. Okay. And because of that, because burst meta, I still can't put it over the Hemlock even. Okay. All right. At least we're in agreement about that. I'll end the poll there, because it's pretty clear where it sits. Yeah, that's why I can't put it. Like, if I'm facing somebody with an L-star and I do a quick peek burst, the L-star loses. If somebody's abusing the living heck out of positioning with the Hemlock. All right. Next up would be the, we got mostly SMGs, which is why all these suck. Oh God, you know what gun really sucks and I wish it was better? The car SMG. Now it's better than the, fully kitted than the, like I've seen the gold car SMG. I don't even touch it. I don't even dream of looking at it. I'm like, oh, it's a car. I just walk away. I don't even care if I have a naked triple take, G7, Peacekeeper, Mozambique, Wingman, all of these guns, I don't even look at. I don't even care if it's a gold car. I leave it on the floor. It needs a buff. It is weak. The car is a weak gun now. It needs love. The car SMG, for being diverse, needs to be buffed so that it can last in the bubble meta. It's really weak. It's better than Alternator. It's better than RE45. Better than a charge rifle. Better than the 3030. But when we're talking about burst, if you're trying to bubble fight with somebody, hey Joel, how's it going, man? You are completely screwed in a bubble fight. Like, that's why Devotion, I could see you got all your thought process. A fully kitted Devotion in a bubble fight, fully kitted Spitfire, sure. Even fully kitted R-301, because people love R-301. Wingman, everything else. Car SMG deserves to be C tier. Just the way it is. I would agree with that in terms of Prowler as well. It's not A. Prowler low B. What would it be better than? It's debatable if it's better than the Wingman. I would put it below the Wingman, FYI. That's where I'd put it. And the Volt is really strong. But I can't put it better than a Mozam or a Peacekeeper. So it lives like right in the center right here. Oh, where's the Rampage? This list doesn't have a rampage. Why doesn't it have a rampage? Yeah, we're missing a rampage. I didn't realize that. Prowler B. Yeah, I agree with that. The most viable. I do agree with its burst, but then I can't beat it over a... You know, I'm going to switch these. Let me be honest. The Volt, when you said bubble fighting, that makes a lot of sense. I can't put a fully kitted Prowler in a bubble fight versus a Volt. I just can't. And I don't know where to put the Rampage. You know, I'm going to ask you guys for the end here, because I hate the Rampage. I've always hated the Rampage. It's one of my least favorite guns in the game. I put it at S, but I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to have you guys pull it for the last gun, because it's not here. So if anybody's watching, I don't know why that tier list didn't have the Rampage on it. I apologize. I should have double checked it. Is there any guns missing then that are not on here? We're going to do... You guys are going to vote for the Rampage, because I am so biased on the Rampage. I can't even give it a reliable rank to be fair to the gun. So you guys are going to do it for me. S... Oh, shoot. A... B... I can... C... And then... I can't put it at D. So you guys are going to vote. This is for the Rampage. I'm not even going to vote myself. I'm just going to watch you guys vote. See what you guys do for the Rampage. Because I'm so unbelievably biased, I throw it always almost all the way at the bottom. I dislike the feel of the gun. I don't like it. I would prefer a Scout, everything else in the game. I even take a 30-30 over the Rampage. I know the Rampage is good, and even probably better than 30-30. I just cannot stand the gun. So I'm going to take my opinion out of that because I am 100% biased. See what you guys overall say, though. You guys are saying pretty overwhelmingly C, which is interesting. P20, yes, I hate P20s. No, they're horrible. They have never been meta. P20s have never had, think about it, the P20s have never had a single spotlight in the meta. At all. They've never been meta. And because of that, RE45's been meta, Alternator's been meta. I dropped P20s because they have never had their limelight. Every single gun on this list has literally been meta at one point. No, the P2020, I'm putting my foot down on that one. That gun sucks. Even with a Kimbo, trying to find the hop-ups and everything, nope, it's staying at the bottom of D tier. The P2020s have never had... This is the argument. I think they're so bad of guns that they deserve to be over-buffed to be strong for once in the game. They have never had their time in the limelight. And let me explain. The Mastiff has been extremely meta at one point. The Kraber has been way better. The Sentinel is extremely strong. Eva-8 has been meta. That's why I've been the care package. Longbow has also been when it had heavy ammo, right? The Havoc has been absolutely busted at one point. Nemesis is extremely strong. Flatline, yes. Hemlock has been busted. They have to nerf. R99, let's not even talk about it. It's been meta. L-Star has definitely been in the care package for being so strong. Triple Take as well has been in the care package. The G7 Scout has been in the care package and had to remove sights, has been meta. The Peacekeeper has been extremely meta. The Wingman, or sorry, the Mozams have been, we just went through double Mozams, has been meta. Prowler with a select fire has been meta at one point. The Wingman has been one of the strongest guns in the game. The Volt was extremely meta at one point. R-301, let's talk about it. It's been so dominant. Spitfire has even been extremely strong. Devotion's been the care package and had been extremely dominant. The Car SMG, when it first came out, was pretty viable, was pretty strong. 30-30 was one of the strongest guns in the game at one point. Charge Rifle, hit scan. Alternator, disruptor rounds. RE45 in care package. P2020s, never been meta. Never. And never in the history of Apex Legends, since the start of the game, has anybody ever said that I'm going to take the P2020s over any other gun that was meta. Ever. And that is unrefuted proof of why the P2020s deserve to be in D tier, to bring awareness that this gun needs to actually be in meta for once. Let's not even argue that it's decent and better now. Buff the living heck out of it and let's see P20 meta for the first time ever. That's my stance on it. So I will stack on that. But if you have a fully stock, would you pick it up? Not against any of these other guns, no. I think every other gun is much better on this list. Fully stocked across the board, I would use over the P20, because I've thrown the P20s on the ground almost every time. Even when at first in the chem was like, okay, and I was like, nah, Mozams, not Mozams, not Mozams. Fully kitted Prowler, always. I still in the current iteration would drop the P20s on the floor, and I have. On stream, in competitive, I would never use the P2020s. Nobody in the right mind in comp is using the P2020s. That's my stance on the P2020 story. I stand by it firmly. I think it's the... Because of that, I hope that they give it its time of day. Okay, I'll see where you guys think about it. Okay, we guys had the rampage. So you heard my hard stance. We'll do a poll for the community now. What you guys think about P2020. I won't include D rank so then nobody can agree with me. You guys can say S tier. A tier. Sorry, I don't know, my brain broke. B tier. And then C tier. Okay. This is for P2020 ranking, what the community thinks, outside of my horrible take and how I feel about P2020s. Because I feel the same way about the Rampage, to be honest. I probably almost put it bottom of C and then D. Same with the RE45. I'm not even going to vote on this to skew the poll. You guys are voting on it, and you guys could say your piece. You guys have it at C as well. I just dunk on them because I think they suck. See, you guys are saying C. I'm just being harsher on it. I'll be fair and say I'm being harsh on it. But I don't like it. I don't like the P2020s. I just think that they deserve so much more. And it's funny because we knock on the Mozambiques for being, oh, Mozambique here is the weakest gun, but P2020s have secretly been the weakest guns in the game. Dude, that is crazy. Ask me to use the L-Star and P2020s. Those are things you would never see me pick up. I just think that they're neat. Homer. That's my best Marge I can do. If you're doing damage pistol. We're dealing with a solid, highly vocal minority in this discussion. I hope that, I mean, looking at the tier list, let's go to end that poll because you guys have had like a minute on it. I think this list is fair. I think we look at what's S and what's A versus B and C and D. I think we have a really strong list that if I were to tell somebody new to the game what to pick up and what to avoid and grab and what's consistent, this feels really strong in terms of fully kitted. This is my opinion as well. And we found a middle ground here on some of the parts on the list, but this is also my overall thoughts. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know if you would prefer, if you'd like to see a legend tier list. We can do one in the near future. Let's do one right now. Would you like a legend tier list in the future? Because we're going to leave this as just guns, okay? It'll be just yes or no. The car sucks, dude. If it's gold, I'm not even picking it up. That's why the car exists all the way down there. There's no way. There's no way. No way. I'm going to vote yes because I had fun doing this. Why you put in the charge rifle? Because like, at least if I headshot someone, I can one-clip them. And also, my debate still, even though it's not part of the tier list, so I do understand that, where I think that at least a charge rifle in the right hands, even if you say if Monsoon was using it, at least it's got like a really strong viability to go up to S. Even if the player's skilled, the P20s suck. They're not good. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. We'll kind of wrap up here. I just think the car needs more love. It's crazy that it's gold and it's still... Like, if you see a gold car SMG and you have a Peacekeeper, you're leaving on the floor. Before you go, who's your best legend? We'll have to save it for the tier list for the best legend. That's going to be harder because there's a lot of personal bias there, and I play a lot of bad legends. So, but I think this list is really strong. I look at it and I see the middle ground. A lot of stuff actually sits between A and B, which is pretty good. And at least there's a good balance here. It was enjoyable. I'm glad. Keep in mind, you guys are to blame also on this list because you guys helped me find a middle ground with stuff, so I'm not putting too much personal bias. Again, if you enjoy, leave a like. Let me know if the tier lists like this are fun. I know in the past when I've done tier lists, I've kind of avoided it because I didn't want to just put my own opinion out there in a video. But if we're in a live format, then I think it's a lot more fun if we just kind of talk through. Because then at least I can showcase my bias, but then I can see the community give your feedback too. So please comment on this live stream and you get to see where we did polls and I tried to find a middle ground with everything. Today, no, I'm gonna leave this as just a tier list. I'll be back on Saturday and we'll play a lot more. I might play more Conduit or Watson. We'll see. But thank you guys again. I'll see you guys all in the next one. All right, bye everybody. I'm going to be typing to you guys. Bye, bye, bye. Yeah, it's going to stay as a VOD. This will stay as a VOD afterwards. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, everybody.